Be prepared for the unexpected. As a business owner, this is a concept that you are familiar with. And most of the decision making revolves around this methodology. There could be events like where COVID freezes the market, or your bank take away the credit limit, or there could also be situation where the market is not favorable because change in some government policies. And there could be many such situations. An emergency fund is a pre-preparation that you do so that you can buy out time and float in the market till the market conditions are back to normal. In this video, I will talk about how much funds you need to take care of as emergency, what are the best options to source such emergency funds, what are the best options to park your emergency funds while waiting for the contingencies to happen, and lastly, my secret tip to create an emergency fund on autopilot. Hi, I'm CA Piyush Bansal. I help entrepreneurs optimize their business and life. Let's jump into the concept. So the first part that I'll be talking about is how much funds is required, and stay tuned to the last part of the video where I'll share how to create your emergency funds on autopilot. So the first part talks about how much is the fund. So ideally, when we're talking about the emergency fund, it is required that you should cover up your fixed expenditure for at least 6 to 12 months of your business cycles. Now, it could be put very simpler format, like you can just calculate what are your fixed costs, like your salary cost, your rental cost, your electricity cost, and you just do the total of it. Now, if your fixed cost is coming to, say for example, 50,000 rupees, you'll have to simply multiply by 6 or 12. So for 50,000 for 6 months would be 3 lakh rupees in your emergency funds. And for 12 months, you'll have to have 6 lakhs as an emergency fund. So your fund requirement should be between 3 lakhs to 6 lakhs. So that if there's any contingency which happened, you can stay afloat into the market without getting disturbed for the whole market conditions. Having said that, the second part of the concept is best option to create these funds from. Now, there could be multiple sources in an entrepreneur life as a business which they can source their funds from. The top category is your operational revenue. All the revenue that you are earning from your operations, you can take a part of it at a monthly interval, and you can keep aside that specific revenue into the emergency fund. Having said that, the second source that you can use is insurance money. Yes, this is a little known secret where insurance also act like an emergency fund. So in your business, you can go along with many insurances which could be relating to your stock, your operations, your revenue, and there are many insurance that are available for an entrepreneur. So you can really mitigate those kind of incidents by doing a proper insurance of it, and through that you can get a good cover of it. That could act as an emergency fund for you. And the third source could be any lump sum surplus that you have collected or you get out of your business in one go. So if there's one big project that you did and you get a revenue in great lump sum amount, you can take a part of it and put aside as an emergency fund. So these are the three best sources which you can use in your business to create an emergency fund. Having said that, the third part of it talks about where to park these emergency funds. Now, it is very much needed to be noted that the mindset for emergency fund is for emergencies only, and you really don't know when these emergency would come. So that is why it is required that you have to keep this amount for a unforeseeable amount of time, and for that to happen, you will have to protect your fund from inflations. So before talking about where to park, there are four tips that I want to take care of. So the first tip that I want to talk about is your emergency fund should be 100% safe. That means you have to take zero risk in this case. Wherever you park your fund, it should not be risky, and you should ensure that it's 100% safe. Second important tip is that it should have an instant redemption facility. Instant redemption means that you get your amount instantly within a period of 24 hours. Next tip, it is important that the return of investment from that specific fund should be greater than the inflationary cost. Otherwise, over the period of time, your fund might actually depreciate and will be of lesser value as compared to what is required. And lastly, that's the best part that you can do is you keep that fund out of sight. That's the best part. That's the best investment advice, and the best fund advice that I can give at this moment is do not keep your funds inside, because whenever you know that you have that funds available in your account or in form of any other formats, you can quickly take it out at any point of time. And the purpose of this fund is very specific in case of emergencies only. So that is why it needs to be parked in a way where you don't know where you don't get to see it all the time, but you know it at the back of the mind that you have such kind of fund parked at that specific place. So having said that, the options that encompasses all these 4 tips are: first, you can keep it in form of cash, or you could keep in form of bank, or you could keep in a form of fixed deposit, and lastly, you could keep in form of liquid mutual funds. And fifth is something you can distribute the whole funds into these 3 or 4 categories. How to distribute is the entire fund of, say for example, 3 lakhs, 10% of 3 lakhs could be put in form of cash, which is 30,000 rupees. Now this could be somewhere which is in your locker, cupboard or wherever. Second part is the next 20% of that fund, that is 60,000 rupees, should be kept in form of bank balance in any format. And lastly, you can keep a fixed deposit or a liquid mutual fund of the 70% of the amount, because the first 2 will get you very less return, but the remaining fixed deposit and liquid funds will give you a good return on investment, which will beat the inflation cost. So that is why you can allocate your funds into these different buckets, so that at time of need you have that kind of instant availability and you can play around with your funds easily. Having said that, if you're liking this video and you understood anything out of it, please subscribe by clicking on the link below, and you can share comments in form of what is the best outcome that you got out of it. And the last part which I want to talk about is creating emergency funds of autopilot. Now this is a trick that I've been using for myself also, so that I can create my emergency fund at an autopilot without giving much effort into it, because there are so many other activities that needs to be done and taken care of. So for that reason, what I do is I create a RD in my current account, which is my business account, and I give a specific period of 6 months. So for the period of 6 months, a particular amount get deducted from my current account and goes to the RD. And the moment it matures, I move it to my sweep account. And sweep account is a separate saving account wherein I have the facility of automatically putting a sum of money above a specific amount to a FD. So in my case, any amount which is above 30,000 goes directly into a FD. And whenever I need it, I can break that specific FD without breaking all the FDs. So it's a very flexible plan wherein your FDs can be created and you can use that amount very flexibility in that case. So that way my FD creates automatically, and firstly my savings gets automatically done through form of RD. So these are the 2 activities that I have to do in the interval of 6 months. and my funds are sorted. Depending on the kind of amount that you're looking of, you can break the specific amount into the month and the period over which you can collect it. Say for example, if you're looking for 3 lakh rupees fund, and you can save and you want to do it in 2 years, so proportionately you can distribute the installment and identify the RD amount that you need to keep for it. So just to give a quick recap of it, the funds should cover your fixed cost, and it could be taken out of your revenue, operational revenue, insurances, or lump sum surplus. And the best option that you need to keep to park your funds is it should be 100% safe, instant redemption, ROI should be greater than inflation, and it should be out of sight. And you can allocate into different types of asset class. Now, it is my genuine request for all the business entrepreneurs, because in an entrepreneur life, there are 2 or 3 such situations where market is really impacted. And to keep things afloat, you need an emergency fund. And you have that kind of fund with you, you are able to create a business legacy for yourself and your generations to come.